Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Hello, TCCA. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are bringing you Transformers news from around the world and actually mostly around the world. Australia. Actually, no, Australia got a bit of news today. This is episode 256. We are recording live on Friday, the 13th of May. It's an ominous date to be recording a live podcast. So let's see how we go. Spooky noise plays in the background. In this week's jam-packed episode, we will be discussing Hasbro going all in on the wreckers. A new G1 Masterpiece figure is getting us all on the spin. Hasbro and Lego seem to have gotten into bed. And would you buy a Metroplex that's over a meter tall? All of that and more is coming up in this week's episode after this. G'day and welcome to the show. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, I have Max coming to us from Adelaide, somewhere in Adelaide. Max, last week it was raining. Is it fine weather there?
It's not raining somehow in Adelaide, which is a rare occurrence this time of year.
That's because it's all gone to Queensland.
Nice. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So look, it was meant to be pretty shit weather in Sydney this week, but it's actually been all right. Coming to us from Canberra. Daria, you're in Canberra, aren't you? I keep forgetting. Yep. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, no, haven't moved.
Coming to us from the AC of the T.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Ow.
Oh. So I may be coming through Canberra myself in a couple of weeks' time. I'll have to look you up and say hi. Daria, how are you doing?
Pretty good. We got the rest of that rain runoff, just in case you're wondering.
It seems to have just split up and just gone either side of Sydney. Sydney's been fairly good for rain this week. But yeah. What has been happening? Have you guys had a busy week?
Not particularly. Mostly just working, same as usual. Recently replayed Transformers Devastation, which is I
saw that.
Excellent experience.
You said you got Devastation working on a PC, right?
Yeah, which basically means you have to pirate it. But there's nothing wrong with that because you can't buy it anymore. So
could you not? So was it only ever a digital download? Was there no physical?
I don't believe there's physical copies for PC. I know you can get physical copies for PS4 and Xbox One. But PC,
yeah, I'm pretty sure I have an Xbox game disc, and just I lack an Xbox.
I'm the same.
I can see it right now.
Yeah,
I've got an Xbox disc on the shelf behind me, but no Xbox to play it on, alas.
Actually, you know what? That's actually not true. I do have an Xbox, but it's not connected up, and this is going to sound like the lamest of anything. I play games on my Switch. I play Mario Kart on my Switch. But I did get it. I got an Xbox One. Like I won it at an event that I went to, and I think I plugged it in. And during setup, like I managed to confuse Microsoft's account setup process, and now the entire thing just it boots into a loop, and it can't. I don't think it can be set up. It kind of needs a factory reset. I've put it to one side. I put it to one side about 4 years ago, and I'm just like, whatever. don't
the whole console generation's ended. No.
Well, I can't play Mario Kart on it, so I'm not really sure what I'm meant to do with it.
You can play Transformers, though.
Yeah, apparently I can also play that on a PC, although I'm also a Mac house. So, this has gone well early. So did you have any issues setting that up, or was it just a case of acquiring a?
It's just finding a working.
What are the things that the kids call them these days? Torrents.
Torrents, yeah. So if you've got, I suppose there's nothing especially. It's not illegal. It probably is slightly illegal to promote torrents on a show, but you know, you can't buy it, and they've already paid for it. So
so BitTorrent is not illegal. Downloading copyrighted content on BitTorrent is illegal.
It's like driving a car isn't illegal, but being a getaway driver is.
I mean, the easier thing is hitting people with the car is illegal, but it doesn't make the car illegal.
Okay, grab that too.
Yes, they're both correct.
Well, there's a million and one reasons you can use to justify it. I guess the one thing I'd say, if you're looking for a working one, try the no Steam version. That worked pretty perfectly for me. No issues, nothing like that, and it's a game that's held up remarkably well. Just something being made, like having a Transformers game done by Platinum with that sort of signature gameplay. It's a bit of a special experience. So I haven't played it in over 7 years. So if you ever get a chance to have another crack at it, I'd highly recommend it.
Sounds good. Rob Franklin says, "Good evening. We'll throw a hello over to the chat room, and it's it's nice to see people. We love having people listen live and comment along with the goings on. So we look forward to hearing people talking about and commenting on what we're discussing as we go through. Look, it's been a big week in Transformers news. This is probably the biggest week of Transformers news that I can remember in recent history, just simply due to the number of toys that have been revealed. And I say this in the knowledge that the last episode that we did was a sort of a reaction, I think, to one of Hasbro's live streams, and now since then, like, there's been tons of other stuff that has come up as well. So yes, it's been a busy week. Should we get going on some news?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we'll get going on some news. The first stuff up for news is a bit of release news. So local releases. The big news of the week is that Transformers are hitting JB Hi-Fi stores nationwide. I'm going to try this, and it's probably not a great idea to do it live. I probably should have brought it up beforehand. But if I look for JB Hi-Fi Transformers, there we go. This is going to work just fine. No, it's not. It's going to take me to the Transformers movie DVD page. But if we go there, we'll add this into the stream. JB Hi-Fi suddenly has Transformers toys all over the place on their website. There's current releases, there's new stuff. So we can see Kingdom Cyclonus, we can see core class figures there. There's Rodimus Prime has been on JB Hi-Fi for a while. He's very expensive there, but they might price match.
In amongst, they do have some quite decent prices up there. A few things are cheaper than I've seen them elsewhere. And then Rodimus is just a weird, conspicuous $200 figure.
Yeah, in fact, looking at this, so I can see the Studio Series 86 Perceptor is sitting there on JB Hi-Fi for $40. And I'm pretty sure that's $45 in EB Games now as well. There's Gigawatt for $65. JB Hi-Fi stores have shattered glass stuff sitting on the shelf. So they've got shattered glass Jetfire, and we've also seen Goldbug, I think, in stores as well. So they might be getting more shattered glass figures. There's the Kingdom... There's Kingdom T-Rex, and as Rob has just pointed out, the Golden Disc collection is a big surprise. It is a really big surprise. These figures were meant to be Amazon exclusives, and maybe that exclusivity period is over. There might be various reasons for that, but so we can see Pterosaur, probably one of the most sought after Golden Disc figures, just sitting on JB Hi-Fi shelves around the country now for $45. So if you're looking for a Pterosaur and you don't want to go online to order him, you can certainly go find him at JB Hi-Fi. So that is undoubtedly the big news of the week for local releases. And that's a week that we also saw Legacy hit Australian shelves and ship from Amazon. So I guess that's kind of saying a lot as well. So we've seen reports. Rob says there's a Transformers fan in the JB Hi-Fi buyers room. That could be quite right. Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because they've flirted with this for a little while. It's been about a year now. They've had various collector line figures on their shelves, but it's all been fairly sort of straightforward. It's like, okay, here's the current wave of Studio Series. Here's the current wave of Kingdom. Well, but now all of a sudden they've got all these exclusives coming through, sort of out of nowhere.
We saw this the Jigsaw puzzle come up, which you might say that was testing the waters back in 2020, and like the price has plummeted on this set for ages. But there's definitely some interesting stuff going on there. I also see someone commenting as the podcast on the podcast. So I'm assuming that that's Brad, saying he still needs to get half the new Beast Wars figures. Well, it's funny you say that because Target has the new Legacy Beasts, which are a US Walmart exclusive, listed on their website as of today. We've found that coming up. Yeah, so those figures they're coming up at Target as $39, and so we're talking Night Prowler, Buzzsaw, and Sandstorm. Now, the way that Target does this stuff, like if you want 3 figures, you're probably going to have to, I don't know, do some kind of a some kind of a dance to a pagan god in order to get them to send you the right 3 that you want, but we'll see. Interestingly, in all of this, Mark does point out, where are the Masterpiece figures? Not on the shelves since Toys R Us was the thing. I'm wondering whether or not we might see Masterpieces go to JB Hi-Fi. EB Games does get Masterpiece figures, I think. Generally what happens with Masterpieces these days is that for Western releases of them, they just put the Japanese release in a black and white box. So we do see some of those releases coming to EB Games, and I think places like King's Comics and some specialty stores also seem to import them as well. So Masterpiece figures are not invisible in Australia, but I think I'm sure I've seen the Seekers at least at EB Games and Zing, and the recent Honda City releases, Skids, Crosscut, and Reboost. Pretty sure they've also been at EB Games as well. Last but not least, on local release news, Kmart. We just saw mentioned in the TCCA Facebook group tonight. Kmart has a $15 clearance sale on Kingdom Deluxes at the moment. So if there's a deluxe that you missed out on in the Kingdom line, head on into Kmart and see whether or not they've got it. The Kmart stores that I've been to lately have a lot of Shadow Panthers. My suspicion is that there's a lot of Shadow Panthers to get rid of. You may also find a Pipes and a Slammer. We'll see how we go. That is it for local releases. For overseas releases this week, or last week, this week, we've seen Studio Series 86 Sludge has been released overseas. Studio Series 86 Junk Heap that's the Voyager retool of Wreck-Gar. He's also been released overseas, and we've also seen the Studio Series Bumblebee, Ironhide, and Arcee coming out. And big news that I can tell people is that Legacy Blitzwing is actually coming in the next week or two in Asia. So he's been brought forward from July for Asian releases. So if you've ordered from Robot Kingdom or anything like that, you'll probably find that that'll get released and shipped a lot sooner. It was meant to be a July release, but they've brought it forward to the end of May because it was found on store shelves in the USA. So the international sightings tend to have a little bit of a release impact in Asia. So Hasbro Asia does sit up and take notice when things are found internationally. So that's release news. If you're looking for new figures, I think we're about to have a bountiful crop of new figures coming into to say hello. With that, I think it's about time we start talking about the figure reveals this week, which we're going to start off with the Transformers Legacy Wreck and Rule collection, which is a 5-pod capsule thing release stuff that was announced this week. It's kind of playing out like the Kingdom Golden Disc set, where there's a couple of figures that are 2-packs and things like that. The Golden Disc collection was 4 sets of figures. The Wreck and Rule collection is 5 sets of figures, and like the Golden Disc set, when you place the boxes together, which I'm gonna scroll right down and see if we can find that. There we go. This is the earliest version of the artwork. When you place the art boxes together, you get a picture that sort of shows you a mural, and it does turn out that the mural appears to be Emirate Zaron, or a statue of Emirate Zaron, who's an important character in the comics to the Wreckers. So the Wreck and Rule collection is here / coming out later this year, and the first figure that was revealed this week was a 2-pack of Impactor, I think that's possibly the third or fourth use of the War for Cybertron Impactor mold, and Spindle, who is a fossilizer. I'm not sure which fossilizer, but a fossilizer with some additional parts and added on to make it a unique character. Impactor also has a retooled chest, and you can also see here that he has. In fact, it's probably better to see from this. There is an Autobot Wreckers logo there with, it sort of looks like the Autobot symbol with a big hammer in the middle of it as well. So Impactor and Spindle. We're talking. Most of the figures in this line, they're going to be retools and repaints of some kind. Is that a bad thing? Is this set something that is this set or the entire line something that is desirable? Daria, how do you feel about the Wreck and Rule collection? I'm picking on you because I know you like comics.
Yeah, and I do like Wreckers. I think we got a bit of a thing here in that we waited. It's a bit like a bus. We waited years and years for an Impactor toy, and 4 came along all at once.
Yes, that's right.
But yeah, that's a pretty nice Impactor. They've sort of gratuitously made his yellow bits gold, which I think is just for the sake of making him look different.
I thought that was interesting, actually. But I'm also aware that this is a render that we're looking at. I think there's some official photos where it looks much more yellow.
Oh,
than the actual
right.
photo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'd only seen the one because I was sort of flipping through at the time. Yeah, okay, that's much closer to real yellow.
There was an amusing controversy that happened when this was revealed. The figure, the reveal for this guy, for Spindle, you can see the way that the light reflects off the new purple parts on him, and some people thought that this was translucent purple, and so started complaining about how they're using translucent plastic, it's going to break, etc. It is very clearly not translucent purple. Like you can see from the render, it is solid purple, and it's very likely that it's actually molded in the same process that the purple parts for Impactor are as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a gang mold here.
Yeah, I agree. Now, amusingly enough, Impactor is actually a figure that I didn't collect in Siege or the Special Edition Siege or the Netflix War for Cybertron line as well. And so I'm very happy to pick this up. If you already have an Impactor, do you kind of feel like this is a bit of a cheat to make you buy another one?
It's interesting. It is kind of, I don't know, they're all slightly different. Like this one obviously has a different paint job, and then it has that very, very distinct G1 comic head sculpt. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's really, I'm not sure if it's really, and we'll get to the other ones in this set. It's debatable how much they really offer in terms of taking full advantage of those repaints. Just considering that we have 3 Impactors already.
I think it's important to point out, and there's going to be a theme that we're going to see here, is that these figures seem to hew very close to the source material. So yeah, Rob in the comments there saying that Impactor is a very solid figure, but he doesn't need another one because he's already got one. Random Facebook user says that it is a better deco than the Netflix version. Look, as a comics fan, and as someone who grew up reading the Marvel UK comics, I was right there reading the comics when the Wreckers were, meet the Wreckers and get wrecked was the cover, the classic cover of the comic. So yeah,
first issue I read.
Yes, well, I think it was actually the first issue that a lot of us read in Australia. I think it was one of the first Marvel UK issues that ever came in. Chris Hunt says he'd be tempted on a Decepticon Impactor. There are Decepticon Impactors around. Which one of the Siege Impactors was the Decepticon one?
I think it was the Mirage 2-pack.
Yeah.
The Mirage.
It was like a versus pack.
Fan vote 2-pack. Yes.
Yeah. I think it was one where they had the third weaponizer character in there as well.
Yeah, I think it was actually a 3-pack, but I didn't want to see that.
He had his IDW head.
A little aside, Facebook user says, "Damn it, why am I not logged in?" If you go to streamyard.com/Facebook and then reload the page, you should be fine. You need to give StreamYard permission to see your name.
Yeah, that's another thing that's worth pointing out about the fact that the Decepticon one has the IDW head, is that there's sort of there is that inconsistency of the current impactors. I
I
forget
like
which one.
I like
Which
when
ones
we're talking
actually
about
came out.
current impactors as if there's like a
As-
multiverse of impactors.
With this, it's just they've all sort of come out at once, so we do have this swathe of impactors all of a sudden.
All the
Um,
impactors have come out at once over the course of 3 years. Like they all came
Yeah.
out 2 years ago, and now this.
what I don't know. It's been a weird few years.
It's been a whirlwind. Yeah,
Time,
it has. No one counts
flow of
pandemic
time
time.
doesn't
It's
mean
okay.
anything.
What do we
Um,
what do we think of his fossilizer buddy? So first of all, are you a fan of fossilizers?
Never held one. Just
Daria?
it's a weird looking thing.
I'm a bit mixed. The figures look fine. There's that whole there's not really a story to go with them thing that's working a bit against them.
I think I don't really care for the fossilizers. This guy's listed on Amazon Australia. So all of the Wreckers packs, they're all listed on Amazon Australia. It's been great. They're getting local releases, and the pre-order pages are going up in a timely fashion. So full props to Hasbro Australia for managing that. Been a really big fan of that. But I will just point out that this set is essentially 2 deluxe figures. It's Impactor and it's Spindle. Fossilizers are deluxe class figures, and this is $85 on Amazon Australia. That makes each of these figures $42.50 each. That's a high price for it's a high price for a deluxe, and they've made us pay it twice for this pack, which is kind of sticks in the craw for those of us who don't really like the fossilizers. But there you go. You might find that some people might be happy to get the fossilizers as well. Also, I believe that there is a bit of a combination gimmick that can happen with some of the fossilizers, not the regular known one, but some of the fossilizers in this set. There are pieces of them that can combine into new pieces. I think we've seen on one of the Hasbro designers' Instagram feeds. I'm gonna move us on because there are 5 of these things that we need to talk about. So the second pack was revealed the following day. You can see the theme of this. We are looking at Leadfoot and Master Dominus, another fossilizer retool, and a repaint of Siege Mirage. Siege Mirage, pretty nice mold. Leadfoot has a new head and a pretty striking G2 style paint job with a very brightly coloured yellow with red accents and a nice blue on the legs. And he's carrying 2 guns there as well, which I think were the original guns that came with the Mirage mold as well. Do we have thoughts on Leadfoot? Are you guys a fan of the Mirage mold?
Yeah, that's a disgustingly good-looking figure, this Leadfoot.
Yeah, agreed.
The the fossilizers is a different story, but yeah, that is just. I mean, that's everything you want, really.
I think there's a lot of love for the for Leadfoot out there.
Yeah, I can imagine he'll be the one that shoots right up in the aftermarket.
I don't know about the aftermarket. Like I feel like the lesson that we've learned with the Amazon exclusives in recent times, the golden disc sets, they haven't actually been that hard to get. Like they're still sitting on Amazon. They're now in JB Hi-Fi stores around the country. Like I'm not sure that it's going to shoot up on the aftermarket because I reckon this is going to be in plentiful supply.
I hope you're right. Because it's been sort of fairly random over the past few years what isn't widely available.
It has, but I feel
there's
like
some
Amazon,
things that you'd sort of sorry.
Well, I feel like Amazon and Hasbro learned their lesson with the Galactic Odyssey collection sets, especially with Paradron Medics. And so Golden Disc was sort of Galactic Odyssey 2.0, and that's plentiful. And this is kind of the 3.0 release of that, and I expect these to be plentiful as well. Again, so I will just point out Leadfoot also with the Wreckers logo on him there as well. And we should also take a look at Master Dominus, the fossilizer next to him. The fossilizer now has a... I guess you can't call it a woolly mammoth, but it's a mammoth. It's a mammoth alt mode as well. I asked you guys about fossilizers, and I didn't really give my opinion on them. I'm not really a fossilizers fan. I don't really know why dinosaur bones transformers are a thing, but even I'm quite taken with the fossilizers on these packs. Like I think the colors are really good, and I think the work that they've done on the mold is also really good. Like There's lots of joints on those legs there for posing and articulation. Just I think it's looking really good.
Yeah, they look a
Master
lot more.
Dominus is also certainly a name.
I mean, it sure is. I mean, like it feels like it was meant to be Mastodon or something, but also that name's kind of taken by a social network now as well. But so yeah, Master Dominus, yeah.
They kind of went with both jokes.
What's that?
Well, they kind of thought, oh, we could make it Master instead of Mastodon, or Dominus instead of Mastodon, but they just stuck both on.
Well, so we also had Dominus already used by the Galactic Odyssey collection a couple of years ago as well, which I think the Galactic Odyssey collection took Dominus as the name of one of their planets.
Oh, yeah, and everyone thought it was going to be Master Star.
So yeah, again, it's an $85 set on Amazon. I gotta say, this is the most paint applications, the most colorful fossilizers that I've seen. I mean, Tricranius also had a nice splash of color on it. There have been some interesting fossilizer repaints that have come out, but these are by far the most colorful fossilizers that I've seen, and I kind of don't mind them. Like, not really into the fossilizers, but given that I'm going to have to buy them to get the traditional Wreckers figures, I kind of don't really resent them too badly. You can see there how Hasbro's been filling in the mural artwork there on day by day. I am hoping that it's going to be a slightly more successful mural than the Kingdom the Golden Disc set, which was a bit all over the place as far as completing the artwork. I gotta say also, like, I actually think the artwork is really nice. I would really like to see Hasbro actually release it as a poster. We'll see what happens. Are you guys ready to go to day 3? Pack number 3. It's been a busy week. This is, I don't know, right? We're only a couple of stories in. This is perhaps the pack that has disappointed people the most. But we are looking at the Wreck and Rule Springer. This is the first reuse of the War for Cybertron Siege Springer that we've seen. And I say it's disappointed people because I think a lot of people were really hoping for a cartoon colors Springer. What they instead got was a toy colors Springer. And not many people remember the G1 Springer toy with much accuracy or much fondness. So yeah, Springer's been received with some controversy from people. However, I will point out that, and this is what I alluded to this earlier, it's very accurate to the source material. So when Springer was in the Wreckers in the UK comics, he had a very toy accurate color scheme. So this is how he appeared in the comics. I think if people are expecting a cartoon accurate Springer out of this mold, I think they're gonna have to wait until he makes it into the Studio Series 86 line, and we'll see how that goes. We've got some Studio Series 86 reveals to talk about later as well. So we are looking at a Siege Springer repaint. He doesn't have the messy paint job of the previous use of this mold, but he also is, as a Voyager figure, he stands alone. There's no packed in fossilizer or anything else with him. What do you think?
It's a bit of grey. It's in the sort of fancy promo shots in front of the artwork. I thought it looked quite nice because the lighting made it seem like it had a sort of a subtle blue color to the grey panels there to try and vary things up a bit. But in the actual stock photos, it's just grey. Fortunately, it's not quite that really distinctly boring Hasbro grey that gets used a lot, but it's quite close to that.
There's at least a couple of tones on it as well.
Yeah, it just looks a bit washed out and uninteresting.
I know what you mean. Like, I have this problem with grey Transformers where like they make it out of grey plastic and they don't paint it, and so it just looks unpainted because like we're used to seeing grey and seeing no paint on it and just going, well, that's a prototype. But no, this is the real thing. The last figure that I had this sort of internal disagreement with myself on was Siege Starscream. I saw it and I was just like, kind of don't like it. I've gotten over that now. Like the other Starscream figures in the line, like I've been happy to accept that they're grey plastic, but you know it is what it is. Rob points out that he does like the light piping in the eyes. I was unaware that there's light piping in the eyes on this mold. That's cool.
Yeah, maybe it's the Marvel reader in me talking, but I like this one just fine. Not enough to buy the same character and the same mold over again, but if I didn't have a Springer in, and not to mention this mold of Springer already, I'd happily be snapping this one up without a qualm.
It's funny you say that because I don't have a Siege Springer, so I will be snapping this one up without qualm. Also, I want the Wreckers set, so I'm good with this. Like I'm fine.
I should say it doesn't look bad.
Well, Nathan says the grey does make it look unfinished, and points out the back actually is it's a bit excessive having the grey on the back because it does make it look like the back's not finished.
Yeah, I think one thing that might be is particularly like in vehicle mode, it really looks like it is the grey is that sort of color shade that gets used for a lot of resin prototypes.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like almost stock photos for a third-party upgrade kit. You know what I mean? So it's like here's a tease for add-on pieces.
I will point out excitingly, given what I've been saying about the prices of this guy of these sets on Amazon, this guy's $43 on Amazon. Like, go for it. Like, go order your $43 Voyager. That's a fantastic price for a Voyager.
Yeah, that's cheaper than what I paid for, well, him.
Yeah. I mean, like we've been conditioned to expect Voyagers at $50 in Australia for a long time. So, like, you know, it's good. It's good. I'm fairly sure it's going to be a mistake, but we'll see. In fact, I think I'm pretty sure that Bulkhead, the next one that we'll talk about in a second, is also up on Amazon. I'm not sure what his price is either. But let's move on and look at spoilers. Bulkhead. Bulkhead came out, and this one Bulkhead is a markedly different approach to the Wreckers set. So, not a traditional member of the Wreckers crew, and comes with a new hammer accessory, which does sort of reflect a weapon from Transformers Prime, and he is the Prime Universe Bulkhead. But he's coming with a very interesting camo design on his most of his body on his truck mode. How does Bulkhead as a wrecker strike you, Daria?
Yeah, I can be there for that, because this whole thing, the whole line at the moment is the multiple dimensions coming together, and he was well and truly a wrecker in Prime. That's
also true, very true. Yeah,
I think it's fine to bring him here, and well, I think also he stands out as the one wrecker character in Prime who isn't basically a duplicate of someone from G1. So the only weird thing to me is that he was only released as regular Bulkhead like half an hour ago, but I don't mind him being here, and I actually think the camo pattern breaks him up nicely, makes him a bit more visually interesting than his regular Legacy self.
Yeah, so it's interesting what you say about release timing. Rob actually just put a comment in saying, I thought it was a bit soon for a Bulkhead repaint, then I remembered Mutant Tigatron being released immediately after Kingdom Tigatron. So, I mean, look, we've had a delayed release for these guys in Australia, but like Bulkhead has been on store shelves overseas since sort of like March. Yeah, I'll say March, possibly February, depending on the territory. So like, it has been a few months, and also this won't be released until sort of September, October. So by that time, Wave 1 Bulkhead will be clogging store shelves in Maya stores across the country, and we won't be rid of them for about 5 years. But you know, there's definitely space for another bulky.
I mean, I think a lot of what people thought, unless people are also quite taken with the camo, but I think a lot of the thoughts on how bulkheady is this that people had about the regular one is going to be the same as on this one.
Which thoughts did you mean?
A lot of people, when they saw the first pictures of Legacy Bulkhead, were like, "Oh, he's been too G1ified. He's got Optimus Prime's chest, and he doesn't have the big barrel chest of his Prime and animated counterparts." And I think if that's a stickler for you, this probably isn't going to change many minds. But I think if you're,
I think so.
I think if you're on the fence of going, oh, maybe, but not quite, depending on price, this could go, oh yeah, for a hammer and a bit more paint, I could go that.
I think so. I think what I've experienced with Bulkhead is that people see the photos online and they're like, don't like it. You know, he's too bulked up. He's too big. But when they see him in person, they're like, actually, you know what, that really works really well. So Bulkhead is, surprise, a figure that works better in hand than it does than it does when you see photos of it. I think one of the problems with the original release of Bulkhead is that the windows were quite clear, which meant that you could see how hollow he is. That's fixed on this version. The windows are very dark, which really I think just adds to the bulk of the body for him.
I think also you were just talking about people first seeing the pictures online. I think that there's also, they've gone to a lot more effort of posing him to look interesting in these photos too.
That's very true. Yeah. Most of these, so the sort of the blank the blank images on the white background, they don't necessarily look that interesting because the background's not there, but they do give a better, clearer look at the picture. I've had this comment up for a while on screen. Sorry, Nathan says the Canon worked well here, maybe better than the retail version. Yeah, the retail version, because it's got some of the translucent blue shining through. The Canon sort of looks a bit twee, and of course Bulkhead does have the hammer. The additional hammer weapon here as well, which looks pretty cool and does attach to his attaches in a couple of places actually to his vehicle mode. Put it up the back like a radar dish, or you can attach it to the side as seen in this photo as well. So Bulkhead, is Bulkhead getting a yay or a nay from you guys?
Oh, definitely a
pretty
yay.
solid yay, yeah.
Do we have a price on this one?
I am not sure. I will quietly open Amazon in another window because I know he is in fact listed on Amazon, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll go live and see what happens. Bulkhead is also $43-$44 on Amazon. So get on that and order. And like these are great prices for Voyagers.
Yeah, and I was
take that off.
Tossing up, waiting for his regular self to hit the retail shelves. I might just go, well, I'll get this one instead.
Well, it's going to be in the order of I guess $10 to $15 cheaper than his regular Legacy release as well.
And he's much nicer looking. It just sort of is,
and he has a hammer.
Yeah, I'd see no downsides.
Yeah, Rob says the black and brown helps break up the green color scheme as well. Like I think a lot of people just sort of went, "Wow, that's a lot of green on the original release too." The issue, one of the issues that I sort of see potentially with the camo is the camo paint looks almost like it doesn't really look like it's it doesn't look like it's really applied as a camo. It looks like someone's sort of very delicately painted the angles on it, sort of like a graphic designer rather than sort of someone camoing up their truck. This is also something that I thought with the G2 camo Megatron, the Gen Select Megatron a couple of years ago as well. Like he didn't sort of seem to have a genuine camo print on him, but at least there's two-tone camo on this guy. So there's a lot to say about it. I'll be happy to grab this one as well. Let me say it says the back's camo, the front's wrong. Fair enough too. Some people know that. Some people know that as well. And yes, there are different greens at play as well, which I think it's fine that there's different greens. The original release of Bulkhead did have a slightly different quality to the plastic on the back and the shield and that as well. So I think it just sort of goes to show that they are different pieces made from made it from different plastics and different colors.
Yeah, and in story, it's supposed to be like his trailer, his caboose. It's not like they've just put a seam in the middle of the truck cab or something where the colors changed.
Yeah, cool. Brad is definitely commenting here and says, "Wait, it's Brad. How do I sign in?" Brad, open up a separate tab. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook. Give StreamYard permission to see your Facebook identity, and then come back and reload the stream. And it should be good. Right, now that we're done doing help desk, we're gonna move on. This is as much as has been revealed. The final reveal is going to happen in about 8 hours' time. We are recording on a Friday night, and the final reveal is going to be Saturday morning. However, the final reveal did leak. Now we've seen this guy a little while ago. We're talking about the Titans Return Twin Twist repaint, who is in Diaclone colors, and so we've been expecting to see a deluxe 2-pack of Topspin and Twin Twist. And during the week, I've come to realize that that's probably not going to happen here, but I'm not sure what is going to happen. And the reason for this is that if you look at the packaging set here, we've got double packs of deluxes down the bottom. Then we've got a Voyager, which is a slightly smaller pack because it's a single figure, even though it's larger. But so there's 2 deluxe figures in the pack down the bottom. Now, are we really saying that we're going to get 2 deluxe figures in the pack up the top? I'm not sure that that's. I've been unsure of that for a little while, and so.
Or are we just going to get Twin Twist by himself or by his lanes?
I think there's something to be said for that, but I also think that we're going to get Twin Twist and something else, but I don't think it's going to be Topspin. And the reason I don't think it's going to be Topspin is because one of the prominent community leakers, JT Prime 17 on the TFW boards, posted this week and just said, "Look, guys, the Topspin doesn't appear to be coming. Like they were both on the list originally." And so, I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, can you get me a Topspin and Twin Twist?" It doesn't look like Topspin is actually going to come along. But if you look at the photograph here, so we've been looking at sort of the background. The background has been like a builder figure of a statue in the photo of Emirate Zaron holding the Wrecker's hammer here. And if we look at this, we can very clearly see that the picture of Topspin here is to the left, right? Now, that puts him around here. Now, do you think there might be some space for a figure on the right in the artwork there?
I'd have to assume just a little core class thing, maybe.
Could be. I mean, they could surprise us and just go, "Gotcha! It's the 2 guys," but it's looking less likely, partly because of all the stuff you've just said, and partly because they're on a real thing of splitting up pairs. And I have said many things about this in the past.
Like they are, but it's also worth remembering that Hasbro has also said that they're not going to leave sets unfinished, right? So like Topspin and Twin Twist are very obviously a set. Now, the other thing that we're looking at here is that we're looking at his Diaclone colors as well. So it's not really as he appeared in the comics or in his Wrecker's source material, but it is still a really fun repaint, and like those colors are awesome. And so like as far as I'm concerned, they can have that. Like I don't.
Oh yeah, I just tell myself it's G2 Twin Twist.
Yeah, exactly. He can be a G2 figure. The idea of there being a core figure packed in with him, I think, is a really good one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of who it might be. I suppose if they've just gone original characters for the 2 fossilizers, then it may just be something else new that they can just throw in there.
What if it's a core class Emirate Zaron?
I was about to say
there we go.
I was just thinking who it could be very easily retooled from, because so much of the artwork points this way in the comics.
Yeah,
that
really.
it would
okay, that
be
makes complete sense. Yeah.
it would
It
not
makes
be
complete sense. It's
difficult.
why they're not going to do it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be packed in with this, but I really doubt it's going to be an Emerald Zaron figure.
Zaron would be a no-brainer. I mean, because he is
He's
in
right
the
there in
comics,
the
he's a
artwork.
spindly little guy compared to the Wreckers. He's a,
And
you
he's
know,
basically
just a little fella.
he's had Megatron's torso his whole life.
Yeah, and half of Megatron's head just without the bucket as well.
So that'd be an easy retool.
That does actually bring up an interesting question there. Does the head look like he's been redesigned in the background there as well? A little bit? Or is it
His
the
head
first
was
time that
always
we've
sort of-
actually seen his head in a three-dimensional form?
Yeah. Well, his head's always been a bit ill-defined. It's kind of just
It
been
has. Yeah.
a brick with a face in the middle and weird sinewy bits on his lips.
Mark says a yellow sound wave with a non-opening chest. That is possibly the simplest idea for a core Emirate Zaron. Could be cool. Would be really nice. Rob says a core Emirate Zaron using the Studio Series 86 wheelie mold. That's actually a really interesting idea. Like, so there is a core wheelie coming in Studio Series 86 beyond the shitty one that came with.
Oh right,
with
I was thinking of
Grimlock.
that one.
Yeah, you had me worried for a second.
Well, I mean, maybe there is sort of a facility to reuse the Studio Series Dinobot pack-in mold for an Emirate Zaron as well. Like, I mean, it would give them an extra use of that, but like, I hate those figures. If it was actually one of the forthcoming core figures that we haven't seen yet, it could be interesting. There's a ton of core figures coming out. Some of them are obviously going to be repaints, but this is now my pet theory, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna tweet it later on, and I'm probably going to be proven wrong by the morning. But we'll see how we go. We'll see if I'll run it up the flagpole, see if anyone salutes, and then I might even go onto Mark's Instagram page and post it there and annoy him. We'll see how we go.
I was just thinking on what you said about how they don't leave sets incomplete, but they'll put the members in different weird places. Like the first time they released they did new versions of the clones, you got one of the bots and one of the cons in the same pack, and to get each of their brothers you had to buy one of the huge multi-packs.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And again, recently I was dead eager for the battle chargers, one of whom you could scoop off the local toy shelf with no trouble, the other of whom instantly shot into the exclusive aftermarket.
Pagan rituals, I think, is where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
A pagan ritual to summon yourself a runabout.
They don't leave them incomplete, but they'll put them together most of the time. I only got the clones when a couple years later they just went, screw it, and just released 2 packs of them both.
I guess they had to reuse the molds in some way, so why not re-release them? But yeah. Little comment from Mark there saying those multi-packs were excellent. They were indeed a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's in and of themselves they were pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of like real niche little things that everyone had been clamoring for, but then a couple of them really just shot up in the aftermarket, and
that's true.
Seemingly just about impossible to find now.
So guys, Wreckers, five Wreckers packs. We're talking, what are we, 85, like 270. So we're probably potentially looking at, what, $300 to $330 for a full set of 5 Wreckers, all hitting at the same time. What do you think? Are you in for a $330 investment?
No. I mean for about an $80 investment, I reckon.
So which of the sets are you going to get?
Probably I'm quite partial to Bulkhead and then Twin Twist, depending on if there is indeed a Zaron pack in.
Yeah, fair enough. Daria?
Yeah, pretty similar. Bulkhead and Twin Twist, depending on who, if anyone, comes with him, and of course any relevant price. But if it's the same general continuum of price, it's a good shot. As I already have Impactor and Springer. Oh, I forgot Leadfoot. Yeah, I'd probably get Leadfoot.
Mm-hmm.
But Impactor and Springer, while they are some neat looking fossilizers, they're not worth basically paying for 2 Deluxes to get a copy of a toy I already have, and the other one looking kind of neat.
Fair enough too. I just do want to address. Mark says that was some high class murmuring while calculating. Have you considered voice acting? I have, but the Netflix War for Cybertron people haven't called me back yet. I think I might speak too fast for them.
You emoted,
okay.
and they were
Yes.
like, "No."
Yeah, I Sorry, I emoted too much. I'm in for all 5 Rekka packs. I'm very, very, very happy with this set. Yeah, grabbing them all. Have in fact ordered all of them. Well, actually, I haven't ordered Bulkhead yet, but I'm about to. Have in fact ordered all of them off Amazon.
Yeah, I ordered Bulkhead while you were talking.
Very good. So yeah, that's
But you made him sound so good.
We did. We like to talk them up. Let's move on. There's been a few other figures that have been revealed. They don't necessarily need that much of an introduction, mainly because we have a shattered glass blaster. If you recall, over the last few months, I have said that this year is going to be the year of blaster. We got the Kingdom blaster. We're getting Legacy blaster. It's the same thing. We've got shattered glass blaster now, an evil Autobot repaint of blaster, and Rewind is now in a really hot translucent red instead of the translucent blue. Really, really like it. Not really that much to say about them other than, yep, roll on shattered glass. Looks cool. I'm going to be happy to add another blaster. There is also a Twin Twist coming later in the year as well. And Twin Twist is said to be the way that you will get eject, since Rewind was...
You mean Twin Cast?
I said Twin Twist. Yes, it's been a bit of a Twin Twist. Sorry,
Twin Cast. Is he that good? We're getting him again?
Yes, he is. You'll get Twin Twist with Twin Cast. There's all twins.
You actually get a Twin Twist mold in Twin Cast colors.
Good Lord, I'm so confused right now. Yes, so it's Twin Cast. Sorry, is also coming later in the year, and he will have eject with him. I wonder what color eject will. I wonder if he'll actually be like a smoky black instead of the clear blue. But we'll see. Shattered Glass Blaster is due out later in the year. We don't really need to talk too much about him. Like we've had Blaster come up several times on the show. I've got Blaster sitting around here somewhere. He's an excellent mold. So yeah, I'm very happy to get on this because I like Shattered Glass as well. That's gonna be great. Anyone want to add anything on Shattered Glass?
No,
Looks
I
good.
mean, I like seeing what's coming along, but yeah, I don't think there's anything mind-bending to say about this particular release we haven't already said about. I mean, it's not anything remolded or retooled, so it's the same toy in different colors. So
Absolutely.
if you love that version of character, you'll love this. But if you're a mold by mold person, there's nothing new for you here.
No, although he does have a hot purple gun.
That is pretty cool.
That does look good. Yeah. All right, let's move on then. Next up, now this was a reveal which happened a couple of weeks ago. Was slightly less auspicious than the Wreckers reveals here as well. But we do have some availability updates for this. So last show we did see a leak of the buzzworthy Bumblebee Line's Voyager Dinobot in his ostensibly his original toy colors. Is that a retooled head as well? I'm not.
Yeah,
sure.
His original head had more of a mouthplate wubba than an actual face.
So we're looking at a retooled Dinobot head, and what has to really be said, a lot of people have looked at it and just gone, "It's a fleshy chicken."
Now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, Brad says, and thank you for logging in there, Brad. Raw chicken robot mode, yes. That's Rob says he's using the Grimlock head. So the Grimlock head was in the Battle Across Time set. So fair enough too. That's putting those two together is kind of a no-brainer. I am not really a fan of it. I'm not really a fan of the beasts in general, but I know people are very fond of this one. So the bad news is he won't be coming to Australia. So if you are looking at acquiring this one, you are going to have to import it from somewhere. The other buzzworthy figure that was revealed in the last couple of weeks, long rumored, a toy Deco Pterosaur. Now, the Pterosaur mold I already mentioned was one of the most popular releases of the Golden Disc collection. two things that I'm looking for in the toy color deco. One is to have a wing that doesn't fall off, because everyone knows that right wing just drops at the drop of a hat. And two, the toy deco animal print on the front of him looks much better, and the head design looks awesome as well with that blue and red. Really pops. And I feel like the eyes are also painted there differently as well. Really improved colors. Also, sadly, not coming to Australia, but again, will be available on import if you want. I believe these are due for overseas release in around August. And Rob has correctly pointed out, thank you, Rob, for not letting me live it down. Point 3 is to not throw out the wrist blades. Given that I have a golden disc pterosaur who's missing the wrist blades because I threw them out, I might even just trade him up into a toy deco pterosaur and sell the one with the missing blades. We'll see how that goes. Sorry. Very happy with pterosaur. Also, it's one of my favorite molds from Kingdom. It started with Air-Razor. Really fond of the sideswipe, the Skywarp repaint, and I also am really fond of Pterosaur, despite not really having that much of a connection to the character. So yeah, this version of Pterosaur also really happy with. I also like the fact that they've used a little bit more color in this to really make sort of the joints and the legs really pop off a lot better. What do you guys think? Are you into Pterosaur as much as I am? Weirdly,
I don't mind the character. It is still a beast figure, my thoughts. But yeah, he's just in terms of the deco itself, he's good looking.
Have we got his beast mode there as well?
Yeah, we do. Here it is.
Oh yeah, okay, that looks nice too.
Yeah, so Pterosaur's beast mode was the subject of some controversy because there's a lot of junk on his underside and the legs just stick out there. But like there's the animal print sort of continues on the head there. There's some nice decoration around the eye and on the teeth as well.
Well, it's a bit of a thing with especially the first season beast characters, that people want the characters they saw on the show, and the toys, for the most part, not only look nothing like them, but a lot of them are sort of beyond the scope of most physical engineering. As even Masterpiece Dinobot has a lot of sags and stuffs to try to replicate that transition from big chunky robot to nice slim raptor. And I think it's just part of the way they design the characters and the limitations of at a given price point, that there's going to be chunks on a lot of these characters that you're just going to have to live with or pretend you don't see.
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting what you say about people wanting to sort of collect a season 1 cast, because we see that with G1 collectors as well. It's like, I want the season 1 or the season 1 and 2 cast, or the pre-movie cast or the movie cast, things like that. That's definitely a thing. Like people definitely want to collect particular seasons cast, and if you grew up loving Beast Wars, then yeah, of course you're going to want all of the Beast Wars figures. Maybe you only want a particular cast of them, but yeah.
Yeah, well, there were no season 2 or 3 characters in Kingdom.
I wouldn't know that. That's good. I mean, thank you for adding it. I don't know that. So does that just means sort of everything maps onto a season 1 character, does it?
Yeah, it's either is a season 1 character or it's some kind of reuse the mold variant.
Yeah, so there's something like T-Rex, I guess.
Yeah, but none of the transmetals were recreated. None of the fusors.
I think there's still a chance that they might revisit some of the sort of the Beast Wars, some of the Beast Wars sublines and offshoots.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually a little surprised none of them. That Silverbolt didn't squeeze in, because he was a popular and not difficult to build character. But there we go.
Yeah. Continuing on with the reveals from a couple of weeks ago, we also got the much anticipated red cog. Much anticipated and imaginatively named. Red cog being a weaponizer, comes with a extra pack of accessories, including several. There's several accessories. We can see them. We can see them here. You can see the sort of the sticky bombs on the ground there. Number of guns attached to them. The guns have been especially designed to match their on-screen appearances in various medias. Red cog has been considered especially desirable, and he also fits onto Arcee's backpack, which we don't actually have a photo of here. Mark Ma from Hasbro did actually post a photo of that on his Instagram page, showing how you can attach red cog. That was one of the more interesting parts of the Netflix cartoon, was the characters using various cog bots as sort of weapons backpacks that attach onto them, and it turns out that is quite possible. Red cog is coming to Australia and should be available from places like EB Games and Zing. I'm fairly sure that a lot of places already, I say a lot of places, like the importers, places like Robotoys would already have them up for pre-order, very likely.
And I love how blatantly he's named.
Well, it's not.
There's no messing about
that's happened. It's not. There's a precedent for this. We had Gen Select's Red Swoop as well. I mean, this did come up in the Facebook discussion group when he was announced. People were like, couldn't they have come up with a more imaginative name? Like, well, what would you name him? I mean, there's
they have had a few goes where they've tried to say, this is a totally different character, and they just go, it's Cog and he's red.
Yeah. I mean,
I like it. There's no messing about. It's just straightforward to the point.
Yeah, let's not pretend it's anything that it's not. Also, I'm pretty sure that they didn't actually end up reusing the cog mold yet, did they?
No,
I have no idea.
No, so like fair enough, right? You know, let them have a repaint of cog. We did get a repaint of Brunt in the Centurion multipack, and this is basically another Centurion multipack with the
did they reuse cog for the beefed up power dashes?
Oh yes, I think you're right. I think one of them was a cog, but that's only one reuse. Like this is the first time we've seen it pop up in a while. Also, because
isn't he
cog,
the first of the much delayed releases of someone who goes with a Titan, even though the Titan was released before characters?
I'm not sure who would Red Cog go with as a Titan.
Well, I meant the original Cog, the blue one. The blue one, of course, goes with Fort Max, but unlike the original, he didn't come with Fort Max. He came years later, just as Six Gun and Slammer and Brunt Havers and Scorponok's mate have as separate characters that have been packed in with the original big guys.
So would Red Cog go with like the Brave Max repaint?
Yeah. So anyone who has that rare do-over of Titans Fort Maximus as Brave Maximus, now you can have this one.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. The other reveal from that stream, masterpiece movie Blackout. Now, I feel like we may have had some leaked photos of this or something previously. We also regularly have video chat nights in the group, and so I often confuse talking about things on our video chat nights with talking about them on the podcast. So my apologies if that's the case as well. I will just point out, small little production note. Someone says that there's a bit of breathing going on into microphones, so maybe if you guys could just move your microphones away a little bit, or just above where you're breathing, if that's the case. Hopefully we won't leave any volume left for the voices. So we are looking at masterpiece movie Blackout here. He is a very impressive figure. Is he the largest movie masterpiece that has yet come up? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he has an enormous alt mode. Max was thinking there, but has stopped.
I do that a lot. Just stop thinking. Yeah, I'd have to imagine he's probably the largest, at least if they're going for movie scale. Unless maybe Megatron. Was he taller?
I think I do recall movie masterpiece Megatron being quite huge, but I don't think necessarily that his alt mode is quite so large. But yeah, not entirely.
Yeah, I guess
sure.
if we're talking the sheer mass of the figure, then Blackout would probably still win out.
Also, lovely logo at the top of this photo showing a 15-year anniversary for the original Transformers film, 2007 to 2022. Given that, it would be nice to see them release a movie masterpiece figure this year, and therefore along comes Blackout. This figure was heavily rumored for a really long time, so like we've known that he's coming for a while, but still nice to see. Do you guys collect movie masterpieces?
I do not.
No, I don't really keep track of them.
No,
do you?
I don't collect movie masterpieces. My disdain for Bayverse is well known. But yeah. Do you know what masterpieces I do collect? G1 masterpieces. And we have a new G1 masterpiece to talk about. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. The extremely impressive masterpiece MP56 Trailbreaker. We did hear that Trailbreaker was on the design board for a while, and it was nice to see him revealed this week. He is a larger masterpiece figure, so he's like he often goes along with the sort of the Autobot cars in episodes and stuff, but he's a noticeably larger bot. He's more of the size of sort of Ironhide Ratchet or Inferno perhaps. So his price tag is a little bit higher. It's about probably around the $200 to $220 mark. But yeah, no, Trailbreaker, I think it looks fantastic. There's a couple of heads. There's a nice piece here showing the all the pieces that come with him. There's a couple of alternate heads. There's a nice blast effect. There's his radar dish. There's an arm attachment for a blaster, and of course he's got the is it a cannon hand on his left arm, or is it some other weapon or something? And
I think so.
There's also an alternate cartoon colored grill, which is interesting to see. So you can sort of see the original grill on the front there, and you can see the animated one there as well. There is also something going on with the window designs that people are not quite sure what's going on with the windows there. So you can see there's a window on the left side of the car there, but the window on the right in some photos is a full window, and in other photos there's a black panel over it. Now that's caused some confusion as to what's actually going on with the window design. I guess we'll work it out in the end. But yeah, extremely impressive looking figure. Really looking forward to adding him to my collection, even though it's another Autobot, and my masterpiece collection is extremely Autobot heavy.
I think everyone's is just naturally. But
yeah,
I'm thoroughly impressed by him. I like that he's sort of a bit more muted as far as masterpieces go in terms of the accessory count and everything. It's not like they're trying to overinflate the price tag or just throw in superfluous stuff for the sake of it. It's fairly straightforward, which I appreciate.
So Brad, just on the pricing, so Brad says he's not replacing the 3P one with this because it'll be $150. It's going to be more than $150, but like
it's $200 Australian on HLJ right now.
Yeah, he's gonna be more than $150. Like $150 is 5 years ago pricing for a masterpiece of this size. Also, the masterpieces never used to come with all these accessories and add-ons, which is it's nice, but also the price of everything has gone up this year. But I also don't have a 3P Trailbreaker, so I'm going to be very happy to add this guy onto my masterpiece shelf.
and of course we can probably safely guess another character or three who's going to stem from this mold to keep us all interested.
Well, so this is an interesting question about opportunities for sort of repaints and remolds. Is like if we look at the car mode, there's very clearly pieces folded up inside him here. I have to thank Craig Moore for the analysis of this on our chat on Wednesday night. If you take away the canopy, covering the back of this, it leaves sort of exposed arms. So if you were going to replace him with some apparatus for hoist, if you were to do the tow truck thing that hoist does, you're going to leave arms exposed. So there does remain a possibility that hoist will be some kind of a retool of this. But yeah.
And I was also thinking of lift ticket and flatline.
Yeah. So Mark also says there, hoist, lift ticket, and the blue diaclone hoist. To be perfectly honest, I don't see them doing a lift ticket in Masterpiece. I don't think it's I don't think it'll happen. Like, there's been other molds where we're like, yeah, we're going to get a diaclone of this, and we didn't yet. I know that there's often a diaclone repaint that comes out for is it WonderCon or Wonderfest, one of the Japanese conventions. But I think because of the pandemic, because there hasn't actually been in-person conventions, I think they've sort of fallen off a little bit with making those diaclone themed repaints. It does remain a possibility that there might well be that sort of a thing is done as a limited release maybe next year. We are seeing Takara turn up the intensity when it comes to repainting these guys. Like we've seen Skids, Reboost, and Crosscut released all within like 6 months of the first release. And of course, we've also seen Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker released 3 months apart as well. So there's definitely the possibility that they'll do a repaint. Maybe I'm less convinced of a retool so soon. I think the retool might take a bit of time.
I think it'll take a bit of time, but yeah, I've also observed they like to look. It's not always the case, but they like to look to characters they're pretty sure they can get at least one other character out of.
Yeah, it's true. Look, I think there's. I mean, you'd be stupid to expect that there's not a hoist coming that's in some way based on this, but I think I don't think it's quite as straightforward. Or it might be. They might just make hoist's rear apparatus cover the fist more. Brad says, let's chat. The Fans Toys one is such a better figure in all regards, but the Fans Toys one's not out yet.
Also, it's Fans Toys. Just no.
But Fans Toys Trailbreaker is not released yet, is it? I was pretty sure that he's years away. But I'm pretty sure that there was either an X Transbots or an MMC master. What's the MMC Masterpiece one? I'm not sure, but yeah. So yeah, there's that. On the question of that, Mark does say correctly, there has been a lift ticket recently based on Earthrise hoist. You are right, but I'm just not sure that necessarily is going to happen in Masterpiece. But yeah. All right. We're going to see a lot of MP56 in the coming months, I'm sure. He's due for release in December. I'm just throwing money at people. Take my money. I definitely want this guy in my collection. I also do want to give props to this for being possibly Takara's slickest Masterpiece reveal ever.
Just out of nowhere, full reveal, job done.
Yeah, like that. But they had a really, really well done video. Awesome like transitions. Everything, the information is all in the video there with like price, release date, what does what. They highlighted particular aspects of the figure and different parts that they wanted to draw attention to. In the past, we've seen Takara tease things with like a silhouette and then just sort of show. I often give them a bit of shit for like the kitchen bench photos, I call them, and there's none of that. There's none of that in here. Like they've got nicely proportioned shots. Like this is sort of like some shots from the video. Like it's just been really nicely done. Like highlighting the effect parts there. It's as if Takara's hired someone to do the marketing of these things in a new way. Like I really appreciate it. I thought it was a really slick reveal. We haven't seen this from Takara for a long time. So. Yeah.
Have they got a deal going with Toyota? They just mentioned the actual car brand in one of those shots.
They may have. Where was it in this one?
It's a Hilux.
Yeah, and that's what
Toyota. About half the appeal for me.
Yeah, and the text above says Toyota Hilux 4-wheel drive.
I did
And
not know that. I also did not know that you can read Japanese.
we're learning. I can't read it all, but I can read that much at least.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, nice. Yeah.
But yeah,
So that is interesting.
Yeah, knowing that occasionally they've had to keep the G1ness of their masterpiece figures, had to go back to the original companies. Like, I mean, especially of Bumblebee, that was a big deal.
It was, yeah. And they've gotten 2 Bumblebee figures out of that. Well, actually, they've got a repaint of them as well. Yeah. So that does. It is interesting. They don't really draw out the Toyota aspect of it anywhere else. Like there's no actual Toyota logo on there.
Yeah.
So,
Whereas I was thinking compared to Bumblebee, which has the VW logo smack right there on the front of the packaging.
Yeah.
And anyone
notably,
who's
we can't actually see the back of the figure. I'm not sure if there's a picture of the back here. Oh, there you go. There you go.
That's iconic.
Okay.
So that actually is very likely to make that an officially licensed figure.
I like it when they all play nice.
And that also, this shot does actually just sort of show just how high up I think the arms sit inside that canopy. So when it comes to hoist, not sure what they're going to do.
It takes some tooling, yeah.
Yeah, true. All right. Let's move on a little bit. We do have a little bit more to discuss. We are shockingly over time already. There was also a new wave of Studio Series Deluxes revealed this week. There was a Bumblebee in it, and I don't know which movie it's from.
Dark of the Moon, apparently.
All right, Dark of the Moon, Bumblebee. There he is.
Hey.
Sideways. I think Sideways was Revenge of the Fallen. Was that?
Yeah.
Am I just guessing? Like, there's a 1 in 5 chance that I'm right.
He was that bloke that sideswiped cut in half at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That was very enthusiastic.
I know. The thing that I'm here for is the Studio Series 86 Arcee. Now, we've seen that there's an Arcee coming up, and there's been a lot of assumptions that it's just going to be the Earthrise figure again. Now, there's not a lot of enthusiasm for that approach because Earthrise Arcee is still on store shelves in Australia. In some cases, next to the Bewildering Kingdom Arcee repack of her, both for sale and both not being purchased. So, the thought of adding a third copy of that Arcee mold did not really inspire much confidence. So it was very surprising to see Takara leak an image, and I'm gonna bring this up. So this image leaked out the other day, and it was darkened silhouette. So I've loaded it into an image editor and brightened things up here. This was enough to see that it was not the Earthrise mold. Because you could see that the chest was different and stuff. So there was a bunch of us doing some image analysis on this the other day, and we did conclude that it is the Thrilling 30 backpack design with some changes to the way that the backpack folds in and some changes to the waist. We were correct. I don't know how much you guys remember the Thrilling 30 design, but it had a lot of criticism for as was jokingly referred to at the time as childbearing hips. The legs were laying quite far apart. There was a very broad waist on the mold, so they've retooled the waist. The legs are now much closer together, which I think looks much more accurate to how Arcee appears in Transformers the movie. Of course, she doesn't appear with the massive backpack in Transformers the movie, but that's just a reality of having an Arcee figure that can transform. And I believe there's also been some work done on the chest and the bonnet design of the car, and you'll also see that the backpack now folds up a lot nicer in there as well. Like there's less pieces hanging out, and it's a much neater backpack. Possibly the neatest Arcee backpack that we've seen. So they've taken I think the Thrilling 30 figure is from 2013, 2014. They've taken a nearly 10-year-old figure and retooled. Oh, and also I'm pretty sure that we can see ankle tilts have been added in there as well. So very
interesting.
Very much,
you've also changed the hand sculpt to use the Combiner Hunter's hands so that it could be 5mm compatible.
Well, that's a really good idea because the original release of this mold was notorious for having thumbs and fingers break off. So yeah, that's a very good idea. Very very nice to see sort of a bit of modern articulation added on there as far as sort of the legs and the legs and posability goes there. Very 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 up on this. How do you guys feel about it?
I feel like they should stop trying to make G1 RCs. There hasn't been a cartoon style RC that's worked in my view. Like inevitably, they can always get a good sculpt within it, but inevitably they've all had this backpack. Even the masterpiece has had this backpack. I don't think it's something that can be avoided.
I thought
at this point, it just seems like we're stuck with it.
You just sort of had the option with the Earthrise one that you could just detach it. You could detach it and go, it's a platform to stand on, or it's a shield or something like that. But like, the effect was, yes, you can get rid of the backpack if you want and just sort of have the, sort of the bulk of it gone, which is how I have those the Arcee and Elita one displayed on my shelf. But also, I kind of don't care. I really don't mind. It's a reality of having a figure that looks like the character in the cartoon. Is that like all of the car pieces have to go somewhere?
I kind of just feel like we've done. This is their third attempt at doing a deluxe G1 RC. We've had the masterpiece as well with the massive backpack. You're at Earthrise. You can make it look decent. It's not like they look bad, but it is. There is inevitably this massive elephant in the room for any of those figures.
Yeah.
Right. Almost. And the fact that for the closest they've been able to come is Masterpiece having a backpack fold up a bit neater than the others, and Earthrise just having a parts form. I feel like that's sort of. It's time to just kind of move on almost and go, right, if they're going to make RCs into the future, it needs to be something different. Like if you look back at the Titans Return one, which admittedly did actually still have a bit of parts forming because it was the Blur mold. But it was just one
of my favorite figures in my collection, actually.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. It's much cleaner. It still has that proportion. It still has that aesthetic, but it is, because it's not slavishly trying to be this one impossible shape. It just becomes out as a much, much stronger figure. So I do feel that it is time to just move past G1 RC because it's not happening.
As Mark said, every RC has been a shell form around a Barbie doll skinny bot.
Looking at it, because she just happened to be kicking around on my desk here. I think the secret would be, if they were ready to, you'd have to probably upscale and reproportion her main body rather than as being lovingly called the bathtub on her back.
The bathtub / wardrobe.
Yeah, and maybe figure better ways to use or put away the actual the Barbie doll, the actual humanoid bot shape, because so little of that actually goes towards her car mode. I mean, even it defies the animation model in that the chest only becomes a very tip of the hood compared to the animation model where that's the entire hood. I think maybe there's a bit of, unlike so many of her contemporaries, there's no fallback to, oh well, this is what her toy looked like.
Yeah.
So if you have to,
that's true. Yeah.
Do Optimus or someone differently, you can go, oh well, on his first toy we did this, this, and this, and it looked different, but everyone knows what the toy looks like, so you get away with it. But G1 RC has basically looked the same in pretty much any fictional incarnation, so there's only so many places you can go with her.
I feel like we're probably at the engineering limit of trying to get an RC with current engineering on these things. Maybe they need some better fidelity on the plastic or the better ability to fold different parts in or something like that. But maybe in a few years' time they might come and take another stab at RC. We'll see how we go.
I just realized this one has a navel.
It has what?
A navel.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Does
He's got a little paunch too.
they have changed things on the new one as well. But yeah. Look, I think it's time we move on because there's still a couple of massive things that we need to talk about, and we are well over time. Biggest thing, Lego Optimus Prime. We heard the rumors earlier in the year that Lego and Hasbro would apparently be burying the hatchet and ready to make some money together, and it appears to be true. There is a fully transformable Lego Optimus Prime coming. It's coming on June 1st. It's 260 Australian dollars. It's the price of a masterpiece, and he's not small either. He's sort of about 2/3 of the height of Lego Voltron, for those of you who have that. But goodness me, this looks great.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Lego Optimus Prime?
I'm pretty impressed. That price tag, intimidating though it is, I just happened to be looking at the other, I guess you'd call them prestige Lego sets in Toymate the other day, and that's actually nowhere near one of the higher prices for one of those.
Yeah, well, I think if we look at things like this, like you can definitely see that because it transforms, it's not as slick as the bigger, as you say, the prestigious sets. But fuck me, the fact that it transforms is astonishing. Go for it. Like, I literally don't care what else they do. I'm totally in for this. There's a comment like saying, yeah, it's expensive. It is $260, but as far as Lego prices goes, that's not bad.
Yeah, I was looking at things
there
like
are way more expensive Lego sets than that.
Oh yeah, I mean the Tumbler, the Batman's car from Christopher Nolan's film, that's about twice that in where I was looking anyway.
Yeah. There is a nice look at Prime's backpack, which you can build from parts in the box there as well. Absolutely, totally in for it. June 1st, walking into my local Lego
just around the corner,
AG
really.
store. Is it? Is it lucky? I have to ride for about half an hour to
Oh, I meant the date.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is just around the corner. It's 2 weeks away. About 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's even got a little Lego Matrix we can see there as well. There's an Energon cube, and you can also make his energy axe as well. And it does seem to come with a fully formed gun. Or is the gun made out of pieces as well? It looks like the gun might be made out of pieces too.
Looks like might be specialized pieces.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think Optimus Prime is a good choice for this because he's already, even in his most artistically modified, animation accurate, comic accurate, artistically defined version, he's still pretty boxy, which lends itself well to being made out of Lego.
Yeah, I agree. I think he does. He certainly works better than some other bots.
Yeah, and it helps. There's a very clear skeleton for transformation. It's always been there. Legs fold back, head goes in, arm stuck into the sides, job done. It's just
it's a classic transformation for that.
Yeah, it's iconic for a reason.
Yeah, and there'll be some fiddling around the edges, but most every G1 Optimus that's not been given over to some other cause comes back to that model.
It does. I mean, he's iconic. There's a reason you do Optimus Prime as your first thing. Should be noted that apparently there's no bend in the knees in there as well, which, I mean, you can take the approach that that's disappointing, or you can take the approach that holy shit, it's a transforming Lego Optimus Prime. Big deal.
Yeah. Already the hardcores are mentally redesigning his knees.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've seen that.
I guess on this original model is a question of weight bearing, and you want to be able to, because it's made of Lego and thus designed to come apart, you want to be able to transform it without it coming apart, which is its other gimmick. So I have a feeling the lack of bend is to stop them just detaching every time you try to transform. Yeah,
I think that's probably also definitely part of it as well. I don't know that trying to add knees to this is especially necessary. Like, it isn't an action figure; it's a Lego set. You know, stop trying to make knees happen. I don't know. Looks great. I'm really happy with it. There's even a little matrix in there as well. It's also really cute, really cool. Made out of some different Lego parts there as well. There's a better look at his energon axe as well, and the energy axe. Yeah, very nice. Can't wait for June 1st to roll around. Gonna just roll on into my local Lego store and roll out. Yeah, very happy. I think we'll move on. Lego Optimus Prime seems to be getting a nice reception from people. A couple of quick stories before we finish up, because we are running massively over time. Trumpeter this week announced a bunch of Bumblebee movie themed model kits. Bumblebee movie seems to be just a lot of licensees can't really get enough of it, but we do have pictures of Trumpeter's Bumblebee Arcee. Very nicely designed figure. It doesn't have to transform, but these kits do actually pose, and you can move them around. So this does look really nice. They're also very affordable. They are about the price. If you buy them from the right place, I am told that you can buy them off AliExpress, and they're about $40 to $45 delivered off AliExpress. They are not huge, it should be noted. I'm not sure if there was a photo. There was a photo that I saw that
There's
had...
a photo up there of someone holding in their hands.
Let's go for that one. Yeah. So she's definitely not huge. But what I am going to do, right, is I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to try to find... We did have a photo that I can bring up. Has the...
I've got a friend who loves the model kits. She'll be so into this.
So this is the photo that I saw of, and so this is next to Bumblebee Studio Series Bumblebee Wheeljack, who is a deluxe class figure. Now, he's also a small deluxe class figure. There's been some criticism of the Bumblebee Deluxes for their size. So she's about 3/4 of his size, and that's, I think, being generous. However, if you are gonna build a Bumblebee movie cast out of your Trumpeter model kits, you don't necessarily have to place them with the other toys. You can sort of place them along with other models. So, but yeah, really quite fond of it. I've been looking at getting the Trumpeter kits, and I have a couple of the snap together. I have a couple of the snap together Flame Toys kits, but I haven't assembled them yet. But very tempted to get on these Trumpeter kits. That's unpainted, so that comes like that when you put it together. That's how it looks. Yeah, it looks pretty nice.
Well, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to see them in my friend's room sooner or later. Very likely sooner, because she is. I don't know why, neither does she, but she just loves the recent surge of, I suppose, good non-transforming model kits.
Yeah, I think so, and the fact that they're quite articulated is also a good plus as well. So there's a look at Bumblebee and Blitzwing there. They've been out for a while. I think this post is from 2021, and I think they've also announced Soundwave, which was also recently announced. I'm not sure if we actually covered this or not. Yeah, so there's the same announcement has Arcee and Bumblebee. So this is actually from March, but seeing the photos is new. So Soundwave and Ravage, it's another, like, that's a model kit. That's extremely impressive that's a model kit, and there's some articulation in there as well. So yeah, definitely interested in these kits. Yeah, very happy. Now one of the questions that we asked at the beginning of the show was, are you interested in a 1 meter tall Metroplex? We've done quite a lot of show before getting to this point. And here he is. He's a 1 meter tall like Metroplex made by a new company called Like Toys. Now, I'm pretty sure that these are just there's just renders here. It's fine. I'm pretty sure that this is really just someone playing with some 3D modeling and just going, yeah, fine, we can produce this. It's gonna be, this kind of thing is going to be expensive. It's not a complicated model. Like it is almost essentially like a model kit. I'm not actually sure if there's even. I'm not even sure that there's actually an alt mode here. It's actually 121 centimeters tall, apparently, and yeah, there's a so the TFW post says we still have no concrete information about price or release date, but stat tuned. Good job, guys. I did see I think the Like Toys has a Facebook page. Oh no, it was this third party unlimited Facebook. Let's see if we can find the perma link to the post here. And it does say so it is from third party unlimited, and it says there's a note about prices. Price won't be crazy over 1K. Well, I mean,
sounds a bit crazy. That's all right.
Well, I mean, over $1,000 would be crazy, but like clearly they're saying it's not going to be crazy. I mean, it's a 1.2 meter transformer. Of course, it's going to be expensive, right? You know,
It does indeed transform.
To be perfectly honest, I don't know.
I'm just scouring the text and
Transformable with some.
Oh, there we go.
Some
Okay.
lights up. So there are some LEDs in here as well.
It is in there. Good show.
Yeah. It's also worth remembering this is probably US dollars that it's talking about, and also as whenever I see under $1,000, I always think, as Rob does, a perfectly sane $999.99.
Well, I think what they mean by not crazy over 1,000 is not much over 1,000.
Yeah, but that's an excellent point. Maybe they're saying it's going to be $1,000, but not much, not a crazy amount over it. Yeah, we'll see. All right.
I mean, already it's going down. You could go, I could get that, or I could get an aftermarket Unicron.
Yeah. Also, I do. I mock because I love, right? But so yes, this will be mass production, transformable with lights. There's a movable jaw. Blah blah blah. Oh, it's not going to have a voice chip. All right, cool. I mean, you could have
could almost just have someone sitting inside it.
Yeah, you could have just you just put a small child in it to recite lines. But yeah, very very interesting. Now it does say people who ordered our kits here and old customers. So I think whoever's running Like Toys must have been doing some upgrade kits and maybe some custom designed bots for a while. It's the first time that they've hit the mainstream with this stuff though, with some big coverage like that. But yeah, all right. That is,
mind you, that's less than an aftermarket night racer I discovered.
An aftermarket what?
I was just browsing eBay and I wondered if Night Racer, the BotCon 95 character, had hit the aftermarket at all. And yeah, there she was for $2,000 and then some.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, it's a 1995 BotCon figure. I think you said right. That's
yeah.
Limited production run. Look,
it's just most of them a lot of them tend to sort of max out at a not quite that ridiculous price.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ridiculous prices are kind of par for the course this year. That is one of those.
Yeah, but if you want to pay for that, that's cool. If no one does, then obviously it's not how much it costs.
No, I mean, like if no one buys it, they'll have to reduce the price if they want to sell it, or they'll just keep putting that ad in again. Who knows?
But it was also one of those moments when you don't know if the aftermarket for something is going to be, oh, everyone's just trying to get rid of this stuff they find in their closet, or this is the gold holy grail of all collecting.
It's hard to tell with limited release bots as well, isn't it? Yeah. Look, we are at the end of the news. We're also at 1 hour and 40 minutes, so I think it's time for us to bring things to a close. Nobody's filled in any acquisitions. I don't have any acquisitions. Does anyone have acquisitions that they want to talk about, or should we just?
I do, but maybe we should save it for next week so we can wrap up.
Let's do that. I don't think the news will be as heavy for the next episode. Like, this has been an especially news heavy week.
It's been really quite bizarre, actually.
Yeah. How do you feel
nowhere.
about that, Daria? Can we hold the acquisitions?
Mine's very quick because it's not very interesting, but just happens to be right in front of me though. So
go for it.
Let's go.
And
I'll save for next week.
I happened to get Rat Trap and Arcee on the same day, and I found out that Rat Trap scales nicely to ride Prime Arcee in his robot mode.
Oh, this is Legacy Prime Arcee.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Yeah, can you put it up a little bit closer to the camera for us?
Sure.
Was Arcee at retail or?
Yeah, just retail at Toymate, and Rat Trap was down to $3. Obviously, he's doing okay, but yeah, I picked up him on the what the hell for $3 thing, and as I was just breaking him out just before the show, I found out, oh, he can quite comfortably scale to ride her.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun when Transformers can ride other Transformers, right? I mean, I've had Studio Series Nor riding Studio Series Wreck-Gar around on my shelf for the last few months. All right.
I remember a lot of people said that if new Junkion toys can't ride each other, they're just not interested.
I'm pretty sure they can. I haven't actually put Junkeep on Wreck-Gar. I'll work that out. I should do that and take a photo. Briefly before we go, TCCA Club news, we are looking at membership packs. So we've run out of things for membership packs this year. It's been extremely popular. Thank you everyone for signing up and supporting the club. We are looking at merch options for next year. We have also received a nice donation of figures, it must be said, from Hasbro. With which we will be putting up for fundraising purposes for sale in the group. I haven't quite worked out how we're going to do it. I think we'll do some kind of an auction. I don't know if it will actually be a live toy auction or if it'll actually just be like a reply auction in the group. But we've got some sought after figures in there. There is a Combiner Wars Devastator. There's an Origin Bumblebee. There's a Kingdom Red Alert. And yeah, there's a few nice figures. Very, very generous of Hasbro to donate them for fundraising purposes for the club. So thank you very much to them. That will be something that we're looking at doing in the next few weeks. Like I said, we're not entirely sure the format that's going to take. All of the proceeds from that will go to the Royal Children's Hospital. So we do of course want to, we want to get top dollar for those figures. So we don't want to just sort of put them up in the group and sell them off cheap. So. We'll have a think about how to go about that. With that said and done, it's the end of the show. I think it's time to finish things. What do you guys think?
Agreed. I think we should.
Let's wrap it up.
We should all go and fall asleep to Vince DiCola music.
I am. That's actually a really, really nice idea. That is good. Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for watching along with the live record. Thank you, everyone, for the live comments as well. And most of all, thanks for checking us out. You can find out more about these stories with links to them all in the show notes. This is especially important if you think we covered off some of the news a little bit quickly. You can load up the show notes and click through to actually find the stories that we're talking about. You can get in touch with us. We love listener feedback. You can bring it in from our Facebook group for Transformers Collectors Club Australia. You can find the official website at transformersweekly.podbean.com and subscribe. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers donating their time, effort, energy, money and Friday nights to make collecting in Australia better for everyone. Our goal is to build the Australian Transformers collecting community by engaging fans around the country, making content like this, attending in-person events like Oz Comic Con, and we run Facebook's largest dedicated Transformers discussion and sales groups. These things do take a bit of time out of our day, so if you would like to find out benefits of TCCA membership and how to support the club, you can find all that information at transformerscca.com. That is it from us. Are we going to be back next week? I don't know. We may not be back next Friday, but we'll see how we go. Yeah. Well, I will say we'll be back with more Transformers news soon. And that sounds ever so slightly on
at some point in the future.
Yes, in the fullness of time, we will return.
If nothing else, we've got to find out if anything else is in that Twin Twist package.
Yes, we will. Yeah. If you're watching live, keep your eyes peeled on the Transformers Facebook and Instagram pages. You'll find out in about 8 hours' time. All right. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye for another episode.
Night, everyone.